guys, it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Today we're going to learn how to play Disarm by the Smashing Pumpkins. So no bar chords in this, pretty simple to play. So I'm going to work you through it. I'm going to show you how Billy Corgan himself actually fingers the chords. Probably not the way I would usually do it, but just for completeness sake, I'm going to show you how he does it. All right, so let's start here with this verse. One quick thing about the right hand rhythm. He's doing for most of the rhythm, he's doing, say we'll just hold a basic chord here. He's doing all downstrokes in kind of an eighth note feel. And he's accenting some of them. Some of them are getting hit a little bit harder. All right, now when he changes to some of the chords, I'll show you kind of when it happens for the most part. Some of the times he'll do a quick little 16th note down up. So basically, you got to basically hit the strings on the way up as well. This is what it basically involves. So if you're doing straight eighth notes, so it's just you're doing the same tempo really in the hand, except instead of missing the strings on the way back, hit them once. So we hit this. So it's going into a chord. And then back to the all downstrokes. So he's doing that quick little down up going into the chords a lot of times. So let's get the chords down real quick. We're going to start here. We basically going to have a couple of different versions of E minor. We have regular E minor in this song and an E minor 7. So it's going to start with the E minor 7. And that's how he plays it. He plays basically low E open, second fret on the A and the D, then the open G, and then adding the third fret there on the B string. From there we go to a C add 9 chord. There's also going to be two types of C in here. We have a C add 9 and a regular C major, depending on the section of the song. For this verse, at least, it's the intro and the verse. It's going to be a C add 9. So you get that pretty easy. You can leave your finger there, third finger there, and just come over and grab the third fret on the A and the second fret on the D. Really strumming the 4 middle strings there. Now we're going to come down to a G chord. Now this one's easy. We're already holding in that hand. Just take these two fingers, the first and second finger, and move them up one string each. And you have the G. He doesn't really have the top note. He's really kind of strumming to the B string, and that's it. So we have this so far. There's a little 16th note thing there leading to that. Now this next chord is where I would probably play it a little bit differently. It's a D major chord with F sharp in the bass, and he plays it like this, so he doesn't have to use his thumb on the low E. So that's basically just the second finger taking over the second fret on the low E, and then the open A, open D, second fret on the G, and still that third fret on the B string. So from here, you basically just flip these fingers around. Now how I would usually play it is like this, and move this finger down here and just let my thumb grab that second fret. So if that's more comfortable for you, you can do that. But it's a little bit more movement in the hand to not use the thumb, but if you don't like using your thumb on the low E, it's a way of not having to do it. And then it just gets back around to the E minor 7 to start over. So through all the chords, E minor 7, C add 9, G, D, F with F sharp in the bass, and then you start over. So we have this all together. So every time I'm going into the G, the D with the F sharp in the bass, and the E minor 7, I do that little 16th note verse. Alright, so that's the verse of the song. When the vocals come in, you continue playing that chord progression 4 times. And then on the 4th time, instead of going to the D, after the G, instead of going to that D with F sharp in the bass, you go to a straight D major chord, and then to a C major chord. Standard C major. And that takes us to what would probably be the chorus, which sounds like this. So he does that chord progression about 4 times. And so that's basically going to be the C major, standard C major now, no C add 9. To an E minor 7, same E minor 7 as before, then to a regular D. Now a lot of times when he's playing the D, he'll have that open A string in there in the bass, just to kind of thicken up the sound a bit. And then back to the C. So basically the progression is C, E minor 7, D, C, and then you start over again with C. All right, so now after 4 times of that, we have this, which ends that section. So we're using a standard E minor there. So no, don't add the 7th there, just standard E minor. He plays it like that, and he goes into this, the D with the F sharp in the bass, and then back to the E minor, back to the D with the F sharp in the bass, and then he's gonna grab a standard C major chord. Just strum that for a while to take you back into the verse. All right, so the verse is the exact same progression we did first here. So you already know that. Now at the 2-minute and 10-second mark, we have basically the last chorus, which is basically 3 different chord progressions in one. So let me play through it real quick for you. Here we go. All right, so let me break that down for you so it's a little bit easier to understand. So first of all, most of the time when you're playing C here, you're going to play it twice as long as the other chords in the progression around it. So I'm going to start with a C major and E minor 7 to D. So that's just C major, standard C major, no C add 9. There's C major to an E minor 7 to a D. So you're going to do that 3 times, and you're going to repeat. And remember, the C is twice as long, so it has this. So after 3 times, it goes back to the C, kind of builds up here to on that C to the next chord progression, basically. So that just that C is like a transition chord. Now what it does is it transitions to pretty much playing the exact same 3 chords we just did backwards. So this time, instead of going C, E minor 7 to D, you go D to E minor to C. So that is going to be now standard E minor here, no E minor 7 here. So we're done with the E minor 7s here. So we're going to start D, E minor, C, and repeat that 3 times. All right, so after you've done that 3 times, then you're to the last section of that chorus. So the first section was basically C, E minor to D, repeated 3 times. And then we had D, E to C, that repeated 3 times. And now for the very ending of the song, we have just a standard D major to E minor. Now we're going to repeat between those 2 chords. However, the second and third time of playing that D, you're going to do it with F sharp in the bass. So we have this, just a standard D to E minor. Now you might want to play it like that, because then you can grab the D chord again, but this time with that F sharp in the bass. Back to the E minor. Back to D with F sharp in the bass. And E minor. And then end the whole song with a C. So that last section one more time. All right, like I said, just watch out, just get to know the sound of the song and knowing where those 16th note bursts are. And you got the chords laid out here for you, so hopefully you have a lot of fun playing it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.